Hello everybody, and welcome to the official iDrag review. Today I'm going to be doing this in the iPhone simulator on the Mac as opposed to the actual phone, so you can get a better view of what I'm going to be showing today. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and launch the application. This is a new application just featured in the App Store, in which I've been helping develop. Anyway, you'll notice that as you open it, this is a car calculation program, and what it does is it features a whole bunch of different calculators so that you can do just about all the car math that you should need. So if you go over more, this will feature all the car math sections, if you will. Anyway, let's go ahead and click on the first one, basic conversions. Anyway, you'll notice that it has a few different sections: temperature, power, displacement, pressure, speed, distance, all that. And anyway, it features just about everything that you need. So for example, if you wanted to know different temperatures, you can move the picker view back. If you wanted to do different power, for example, say you knew that you were making 500 horsepower and you wanted to know what it would be in kilowatts, it will tell you that. If we go back, this is one that many drag racers use, the density altitude, and simulator doesn't have GPS, but normally what you'll be able to do is you can just press auto find zip if you're not sure what zip or what location you're in. It will auto find it, and then you can just go up here and press auto. It's altitude or auto, and it will find everything. And it couldn't find the altitude because it doesn't have GPS, but if you have an iPhone 3G it will. So it auto found the air temperature, the altimeter, and dew point and all that. So all you got to do now is just press calculate, and it tells you what the density altitude is, the absolute pressure, and relative density. We can go on, and you'll notice that there are many different calculators, whether it's from engine building to cam timing to transmission and gear speeds to suspension designs and center of gravity and just about everything that you need. So anyway, let's go ahead and go through a few more so that you can get the gist of what the program's about. Let's click on gears here, and this one is just pretty general. So say you were trying to figure out what your tire diameter was, and you knew that at 60 miles an hour you were at 2500 RPM, and you knew your rear end gears were 323s. You can go ahead and push calculate, and it will tell you what your rear tire diameter is. And now what would be interesting about this is if all of these feature multiple compatibility, meaning that you can, for example, get rid of your rear end gear and put that in there, and it will fill that in. You can get rid of your RPM, and it will tell you that. And you can go ahead and get rid of your speed, and it will also tell you that. So if you knew that your tire diameter was 27, but you weren't sure what speed you would be in with those gears, you can go ahead and plug that in, and it'll tell you that too. Okay, so the calculator also features engine calculations such as bore stroke, displacement, cylinder volume, and also engine compression, which is pretty useful for those engine builders out there. It also features dynamic compression and dynamic stroke if you're interested in finding those. I have a few more calculators on here that feature fun calculators, I guess you can say, not necessarily accurate, but here can be one. For example, horsepower. This one will tell you your brake horsepower loss from a certain elevation. So say you're at 2,000 feet of elevation and you knew that your engine made 400 horsepower. You can go ahead and calculate it, and it'll tell you that your approximate brake horsepower loss would be 24 horsepower. This one is an accurate calculation. So if you knew that your car made 400 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, you can go ahead and calculate how much torque you're actually making at 6,000 RPM as well. This is a fun calculator. This one will tell you, for example, if you're curious what you think that your quarter mile in time and what your weight would be, you can go ahead and enter if you know your horsepower and your weight. So let's just say that your car has 450 wheel horsepower and the weight with the driver is 3,800 pounds. You can go ahead and calculate, and it'll tell you your in time and mile per hour. This one will tell you what your horsepower estimate is if you know what your car ran in the quarter and the weight of the car. And this one, if you ran a 8.5 second eighth mile, it can give you an estimate of what it would be in the quarter mile. Pretty cool for some people. Anyway, continuing on, this one will calculate drivetrain loss if you know how much engine power you have and power out the wheels. And again, this one is backwards compatible, meaning like if I type in 400 and 340, I can go ahead and press calculate and it'll give me 15% drivetrain loss, and I could get rid of this one, it'll give me the same answer, and this one will give me the same answer again. Okay, continuing on, so for density altitude, this actually features the correct NHRA correction factors. So if you calculated your density altitude to be 2,100 feet, and you knew that you ran a 12.8 at, I don't know, 110 miles an hour, you can go ahead and push calculate and it'll tell you what your corrected time was, which would be a 12.489, and the corrected trap speed, which would be faster at 112.805. You can calculate your volumetric efficiency of your engine, and this is you can calculate the tire diameter, you can calculate piston speed and acceleration, wind resistance. Wind resistance will calculate drag force and the power required to go at that certain speed. Airflow requirements, this would be your theoretical CFM. You can see that if you have a 4-stroke or 2-stroke or rotary, whatever you have, you can just type in your engine displacement, volumetric efficiency, the RPM that you want to, and the air temperature outside, and it'll tell you your theoretical CFM of how much you would actually want to be flowing. We have injector sizing. You can calculate your horsepower from injector flow, intercooler efficiency with the inlet temperature and outlet temperature. Calculate all your different cam timing events. This one's pretty cool. So if you knew that your cam specs were 222, 230, 104, 108, and you advance the cam 1 degree, you can go down here and you can just push calculate and it will tell you that the intake is 8 degrees before top dead center and it opens at that point. 34 degrees at bottom dead center is where it closes. The exhaust opens at 48 degrees before bottom dead center and it closes at 2 degrees at top dead center, and the overlap would be 10 degrees. This is your calculate your advertised intake valve closing, and this is really important if you are wanting to calculate your dynamic compression, your dynamic stroke. So all you'd have to do is go in here and just push in your intake advertised duration and your intake duration. Continuing on, this is another like little fun calculator. So if you know what your static compression is, say your compression of your engine is 10:1 and you wanted to run 10 pounds of boost, well, your effective compression ratio would be 16.8:1. Note that's effective compression, not static compression. Here's your power to weight ratio. If you know how much power in your car's making, how much weight your car has, you can calculate your power to weight ratio. This calculator will calculate your head chamber volume. This one will calculate, like I said, your dynamic compression, your dynamic stroke. This will calculate your piston volume, and it will also tell you whether or not your piston is dished or domed, which is pretty cool. This one right here, say your friend was at 3,000 feet of elevation, you want to know what he would have been at 1,000 feet of elevation, and he ran a 13.5 at 102 miles an hour. Well, it will tell you that it should have been a 13.15 at 104.83. This one is pretty cool too. So if you know your tire diameter, rear diameter, and know some of your gear ratios, you can actually here, I'll just give you a demonstration real fast. So let's say your tire diameter was 26, your rear end gears were 373s, first gear was 4.23, 1.67, 1.24, and again, you only have to enter in as many as you want. Just go down here, we can just go ahead and push calculate, and it will tell you at any given RPM what speed you'd be at in each individual gear. So if you wanted to see